Welcome to the Fantasy NASCAR Podcast, Watkins Glen Cup Series 2025. Let's review some of the practice data, help you make better picks. As always, you can go to racefortheprize.com to get access to the Fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet. But more importantly, you can check out my new book, NASCAR versus 2020. I would really appreciate it if you bought it or if you left a positive review. That would be great. All right, let's get to it. So we'll run through the order. Here it is, because I'm feeling very favorable and charitable, and because I want you to purchase my book. Here you go. You can see real quick all of the practice lap by lap data for Freezies. Completely free. So just rewind the video, pause the video. You can see every single lap. That's great. That's awesome. You're welcome. Hopefully you will return that favor by going to Amazon.com or racefortheprize.com and checking out the book. It's only $10. Come on, you can do it. All right, so what I'm looking at, my favorite data point following tire fall off is look and see, right, how many laps did a driver run within 1 second of the best lap, which was 72 seconds, 0.67. And we can see right here how many laps they ran within that top speed. And you can see in the green to the red where they tracked out. So these aren't in order. These are just taking all of their laps and saying, okay, how many laps did you run that were close to the best lap of the session? Now, the first thing you got to know is that Group A was a lot faster than Group B. Now, on the long run, it pretty much evened out. But when it came to short bursts of speed, short runs at the very beginning of a run, that Group A was faster. So keep that in mind. So we look at Ryan Blaney. He's right there with everybody else. The problem he's going to run into is no place differential, and he's got Shane right on his tail. So it's going to be tough to play him. Shane, he's got a Group A boost. Big fire-off speed like we expect from Group A, but there is no reason to doubt what SVG can do. Yes, he complained about his car in practice, but yes, he complained about his car in practice at Sonoma, said, oh, we don't got it, and then he crushed the field. And he went out qualifying despite not liking his car, still qualifying in the front row. You don't have Connor Zilic in this race. Looks like Zilly, who is not even a plus favorite, he's minus 180. Insane. So hard not to play him. Chase Briscoe, though, definitely deserves consideration. Again, not a lot of fire off because he was in Group B, but the long run speed was there, which Group B was able to show, which Group B tend to be the better drivers. Chase Briscoe, good road course history. Basically, a lot of his statistics mirror what we have seen with Martin Truex over the years. Last week, ran well at Iowa. He's run well at Richmond in the past. Basically, anywhere that Truex was good, we are seeing the same team run well at those tracks. He is definitely a dark horse contender, a pivot away. Maybe you sandwich him in with SVG, but definitely on the board. Ross Chastain, Group B, decent fire off, good long run speed. We know from last year that SVG and Ross Chastain were really strong. Probably could have controlled this entire race if it were not for a Daniel Suarez caution that kind of mixed things up. But in the end, Chastain and SVG still finished well, but could have been even more dominant. Definitely on the board. Busch fires off a little better, but remember, this is Group A. He has been very strong at the road courses over the years, or over the last couple of years, which says a lot. Running for RCR, but does he have the potential to score points? PD's not going to be on the table, and he has to contend with Chastain, SVG. It's going to be hard for him to work in fantasy sports. Could he have a good finish? Yes, but fantasy, probably not going to be the best case scenario. Michael McDowell, I think you can say the same thing. Again, a Group A driver, firing off well, runs pretty well. Spire ran really well. All three of their cars finished in the top 10 of Watkins Glen last year. Now remember, Watkins Glen was a little crazy. But still, it looks like Spire knows what they're doing. But again, similar to Busch, at this price point, which is higher, hard to see him scoring a lot of fantasy points. Bowman is a place that I am interested in pivoting to. Group B, not supposed to have that much fire-off speed. He has it, has good long-run speed. The problem, he is starting really close to the front, going to be low-owned, might sneak in there as like the 6th pick in a optimal lineup. I would not discount Alex Bowman. He's always discounted at every track, especially the road courses, even though we know that he just has a knack for getting there. But you can look at the data and see he's running up there with the fastest lap, and he is in Group B compared to the fastest lap in Group A. He's got speed. Hocevar, you're going to need chaos for this to work, so I'm probably not going to go there. And if there is chaos, he will probably be involved in it. Don't see how he can score enough fantasy points, especially if you're choosing between Bowman and Hocevar, then why would you go that way? Bell, tons of speed. Not the most speed, but good speed, which we would expect. Good road course racer, worth consideration. Byron is probably the second, he is the second favorite. When you look at the betting odds, it goes from SVG, and there's a wide margin between him and Byron. But wow, a lot of speed, loved his car, was a little worried about qualifying, saying that they had not qualified well, and of course they didn't qualify the best. But in terms of having the car, having the ability, the last guy that won a road course in the Cup Series was William Byron, that wasn't named SVG. And he did win that big breakthrough race in 2023 at Watkins Glen after years and years of getting better and better and better at road courses. Had that breakthrough. We know Hendrick runs well. If SVG has a problem or an issue or makes a mistake like he did last year on the last lap, it seems like Byron is the best candidate to capitalize. So if you can get Byron and possibly SVG, and you get a little bit place differential, I like Byron a lot. Logano, fine. I like Byron more, but Byron to Logano, you get a much cheaper discount. Logano should run in the top 10 all day. He's got the speed there and could end up in the optimal lineup. Probably could go overlooked. The car has speed. He has had success at this track. You know how he works. He's not the best driver. He just is a very, very, very good driver. Stays in contention. And if this is a race that goes wacky, then lucky Logano, could easily get a top 5, if not win this race. Buescher liked his long run speed, but he did run in Group A. That worries me a little bit, but we have seen Buescher just simply churn out top 5 after top 5 at the road courses. But if it were up to me, I think I would rather go with Logano at a much cheaper price. I would much rather go with William Byron, who I think has a better chance of actually controlling this race. Cindric, Group B, a lot of speed. He has not run well at the road courses over the last 2 seasons, but he's got something here. This is very interesting. When you look at these speeds, although he lacked the high-end speed, which makes sense because he was in Group B, but he didn't have as much fall off as other drivers, and he's going to go overlooked. And at 7,200, he could fit into a lot of lineups. Ty Gibbs, I think we got a little bit of inflation here with Group A. He has been decent this year. I don't think I need to go there. Starting 14th, Bubba Wallace, not interested. Brad Keselowski, not interested. Ryan Preece, not on board with that one either. Fine, the decent pivots. You may go in a different direction. But I think with Wallace, Keselowski, Preece, and even Gibbs to that extent, it's not going to be a situation of the driver being good. Rather, it's going to be a situation of circumstances, wrecks, chaos. And that's okay. You're building up GPP lineups. you can go in that direction. But again, if you're going into chaos, then I would much rather go deeper into the field and get more place differential. AJ Allmendinger, Group B, fired off really strong for Group B. Didn't run a lot of laps, but he's definitely going to be there in consideration. 8,200 though, it's going to be a little bit tougher. Suarez, I think he got some inflation here. Hasn't been good at the road courses this year. Now, you could run the narrative of, well, Connor Zilic is racing, so now Trackhouse can devote more resources to their 3 drivers rather than 4. But if I'm Trackhouse and I now have additional resources, I'm pouring them into SVG. You could put them into Chastain. I don't think Chastain necessarily needs it. Both of them are playoff drivers, but SVG really needs that round 1 bonus boost. And of course, he had extra laps yesterday. And he should have won this race last year. Elliott shouldn't have fire off speed being in Group B, but he did. Just like Byron did. And so Elliott, the old king of the road, looks really strong. Starting 20th. 9,100 should be a very popular play. Not a lot of fall off. No reason not to roster Chase Elliott. Tyler Reddick, Group B. Not quite as fast as Elliott. Not quite as good this year at the road courses. I don't think it's a matter of him losing talent. It's just that the talent has caught up to the talent. And the field is pretty equal. And that's really all there is to be said about that. Denny Hamlin, never going to count him out. But again, if I'm going to take one of these guys in the back, at all pretty similar price points. Now, Denny Hamlin's a little cheaper. And he does have a history. But again, that history is history. It's in a completely different race car. And he hasn't been that strong in the Gen 7 car at road courses. It's been okay. But I would much rather take the high end of Chase Elliott and try to find that extra $1,000. The Reddick Hamlin, I would probably go Hamlin. Haley was incredibly fast. He did benefit from running in Group A. But as I mentioned earlier, Spire has some pretty strong cars. And the speed looks good. I mean, even if you dial this down in Group A, still pretty good. Definitely going to be on the board. If you can, 5,700, starting 23rd, you get him into 15th place. Tell me some other driver that's going to get top 15 under 6K that's also going to give you that much place differential. Going to be hard to find. And I know people say, oh, well, it's inflated because of this and that, but he does have a decent road course history in the lower series. Of course, everyone has a good road course history in the lower series, but it can't be denied. Josh Berry, also strong. And so I think these numbers are probably comparable because you take Group A for Haley, Group B for Berry, and you look at the speeds. So if you want to pivot slightly away from what you might be leaving that Haley's going to be popular, Berry's right there. I know he's not the most technically sound road course racer, but this is not the most technically sound road course. And it probably won't be run like a technically sound road course. I'm not saying that we're going to see what we saw in the Xfinity Series yesterday, but we did last season see the Cup race go chaos mode. And turn 1 can turn this race into chaos mode. Especially with specific drivers desperately needing wins, like guys like AJ Allmendinger. And although Priest may be able to point in, probably not. Keselowski probably going chaos mode. Suarez, chaos mode. We get cautions at the end. These guys are going to run like crazy. Which is funny because Brad Keselowski, guys are in 15th place and they're wrecking each other. Yeah, well, when you're in 15th place at Watkins Glen with 10 laps left and you desperately need a win, guess what you're probably going to do? Zilly is not in the race, so we don't have to worry about it. But, man, great speed there. Dylan, no thank you. Kyle Larson, there it is. Group A, a little bit of inflated speeds, but you can never count out Kyle Larson. I mean, it's crazy to even say that word. So you got Larson starting 27th, sure. If you can fit him, go for it. I don't think you have to have Kyle Larson. I would put Chase Elliott in my lineup first. I may even consider Hamlin a little bit sooner based on price. I do not believe that Larson is a priority, but I also don't want to be taken out of context and say, oh, you said don't play Larson. Look, I mean, Group A, Group B doesn't matter. Look at these speeds. They're there. Wasn't able to get the qualifying lap that he needed. You know he's going to get a top 10. It's incredibly safe. Really just comes down to whether some of these unexpected drivers in the mid-range have really, really good days. Gilly, good road course history in the lower series. Been decent in the Cup Series. The speeds are a little inflated because it is Group A, but not terrible times. And you're getting him at 28th. A little more expensive. I think I'd rather lean towards Haley and Barry, but I think Gilly is in that conversation. Not interested in Herbst, not interested in Jones. Maybe I give a little bit of a boost to JHN. He did run in Group B. Okay speed. Has been an okay road course racer in the lower series. I mean, you could make the argument for Jones as well, because Jones actually has run well in the Cup Series at the road course. I think I'd rather take Nemechek, but I don't think I really necessarily need either of them. They're not saving me a lot of money. I'd rather go cheaper with, you got Haley, you got Barry. Custer, no. Ty Dillon, not interested. Zane Smith, not on board. I mean, these guys are in Group A, not really, and they should have better times. But as I cross all of these drivers off, we do need to remember that the Glen can get crazy, and so really anyone is in play. And they are starting in the back. They do give you a lot of place differential points. Stenhouse has had a couple of top 20s at the Glen. We have seen him surprise on road courses, as for all these drivers. So I don't think you can completely eliminate them, but just based on practice, if the race were to go normal, which it won't, they're not top 20 drivers. But if there's a little bit of chaos, then yeah, any of these drivers can be top 20s. If I had to guess, I mean, Stenhouse is there, Smith is there, and even possibly Custer. It's worth considering. You want to spend a little bit more for Jones and Nemechek, that's fine, but I think the value probably is going to be in the Barry and Haley area. All right, again, racingprize.com so you get access to the Fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and then, hey, check out the book, man. Check it out. Quick, short, easy read. Time Pre.